Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a senior and respected coach from USA, Coach Kevin Voisin. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Kevin is a mindset coach and a speaker. He's the Chief Executive Officer of We Live Legend, and he's the creator of The Spark. So, Kevin, you describe yourself as a mindset coach and a coach of coaches. What does this title truly mean in practice?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The AI revolution is bringing it out even more. So important. AI lets us travel 1,000,000 miles an hour. And if your mindset is victim and I'm going to fail, you will fail at 1,000,000 miles an hour. If you don't know where you're going, you will spin in a circle at 1,000,000 miles an hour, which is not fun in your life. So mindset coach means like really getting clear on who am I and where do I want to go, right? Understanding that if as a human being, you don't know what you want, then you already have it. And if you don't know where you're going, then you're already there. And maybe that's great. Like it's okay to love where you are and who you are and to not need or want anything else. But for most people, I think they're waiting for life to tell them where to go.
Yeah.
And that just isn't how it works. Like it's just we're not floating life preservers out in the ocean of life. Like we can swim and we can paddle and we can, we're hanging onto a surfboard out there. Are we the only force of nature? No way. Are there bigger forces of nature than each of us? Absolutely. And each of us are our own force of nature. So there's 8 billion of us plus every other force. But most of us, it's time to wake up and realize that we can leverage those forces. We can paddle, we can ride the waves, we can swim under the waves. It's all a choice that each of us makes. But mindset is really, for me, when I say mindset coach, what is a coach? A coach is a horse-drawn carriage, right? It gets you from one place to another. And so in coaching, it's about where am I? Where do I want to go? And that's really what I focus on.
Well said. That's the first time I've heard a definition of a coach as a horse-drawn carriage, but what you said makes a lot of sense. Um, Kevin, looking back, what personal experiences shaped your philosophy or on resilience, discipline, and growth?
I have led a powerfully imperfect life. It is the number one core value that I have is being powerfully imperfect. And I have failed at a lot of things. I've had businesses fail. I had the distinct pleasure of sitting down with my wife one year and saying, our business lost $140,000. I didn't tell you about it because I was sure I could fix it by the end of the year. And actually, if I had done nothing and played Xbox all day for the last year, we would be richer. Instead, we hired a bunch of people and have lost a lot of money. My first marriage failed. I don't think it failed. It ended in divorce, which wasn't the plan. I also navigated a very ugly multi-state custody situation. I have I've had a lot of failure and I also have struggled with my weight for 20 years. I have struggled. I was an elite athlete, the NCAA D1 athlete, and then got into business, let my body go, and really struggled. And having a belly and being a coach to 40, 50,000 people is humbling because, hey, some coaches, they secretly have a cocaine habit. Some coaches, they secretly are horrible in their marriages. Some coaches, there's not a whole lot of secrets you can keep with this belly, right? It's out in front of me. It just is. There it is, right? And what I have found and how that has helped me is to realize that we are all human, that perfection is a lie, excellence is achievable, right? But I really think that failure is the path to success. You fail and fail and fail until something works. It's the way we learn to ride a bike. It's the way we learn to use the bathroom. It's the way we learn to walk. It's the way we learn to talk, right? If you're multilingual, it's the way you learn to speak all of the languages you speak, not just one. You fail forward. And for me, having my first marriage fall apart kind of broke the perfect vase, right? My life was this Ming vase. I had checked all the boxes, I'd done all the right things, and now it broke. And I had a choice, is it over and I'm a failure, or can I do something even though this isn't perfect? And of course now I see that the perfection of it was always an imagined thing to begin with.
Great response. Great response. Thank you. Kevin, many entrepreneurs struggle with burnout.
Mm.
Why do you think burnout has become so common among high achievers today?
Okay, so I think today, right now, and I mean, 2 years ago or even a year ago, I'd have a very different answer. So I
Yeah.
have two answers for you.
Mm,
One of them has been true the whole time. One of them is brand new, and no surprise, it has to do with
mm,
AI.
mm,
So the one that has been true forever, burnout comes because people believe in being perfect. So perfection is a lie. If you want to be perfect as an entrepreneur, as a human being, just lie. Look at Instagram. I mean, the internet's awesome. The internet was the one place we could all just be ourselves and somebody would like that person. But instead, we all said, "Oh, here's the ideal." And we all just, use filters and angles and get ChatGPT to tell us the perfect thing to say. And so perfection is a lie, but excellence is achievable, right? So perfection, the reason we burn out is I'm going to take you from perfection to the horizon. Okay. So perfection is not real for
mm,
human beings. Maybe on some cosmic level, maybe God is perfect. Maybe not. Maybe God is imperfect and he's laughing that we think he is. I don't
mm.
know. But for people, it's a lie. But I want to show you what kind of lie it is
Yeah.
because it is also real. It's just
Yeah.
manufactured by our mind. If you think about the horizon off in the distance, if you're standing outside, the horizon is a lie.
Mm.
The horizon's where the sky touches the land or where the sky touches the ocean. Well, guess what? The sky touches the ocean everywhere.
Yeah.
Every single millimeter of the ocean touches air, right? Our mind, though, creates a horizon. It's this line that we perceive that's
Mm.
not real. You will never in your life stand on the horizon. The closer you get to it, every time you move forward, the
Mhm.
horizon moves back.
Yeah.
It's a lie, but it's very useful. Without the horizon, we could not orient. In
Mm.
fact, it's so useful that airplanes have a mechanical horizon because if we can't see the ground, if we're in clouds, the mechanical horizon becomes so important to keeping the
Correct.
plane upright. So that quote unquote lie or that manufactured idea of the horizon is essential in navigating life, right? Physically. Perfection is the same thing. It is a line out in the distance. And what
Mm.
you find, and you've been around long enough to know this, the more you master something, the more aware you are of how deficient you are in it,
Correct.
right? So a master painter knows what he's deficient at a
Mhm.
level that a beginning painter has no idea.
Mm.
And so that perfection line will keep moving out in front of us, just like the horizon. So when we
Right.
believe that perfection is attainable, we're
Mm.
stunting our own growth. When we see it though as a navigation tool, now that's awesome. So
Mm.
that's one reason. The one reason that entrepreneurs are burning out is because they're believing that they think they can stand on the horizon. They think perfection is achievable instead of using it to orient, right? The other thing that's happening right now with AI, if you're using it incorrectly or in a way that's counter to humanity. I remember back in the day, like when we used to have processors that on computers are like 386 and 486, right? And people figured out, hey, if you run a little extra power and you do this and that, we can overclock these systems. And I remember doing this with one of my computers, and it was like amazing. My computer just ran twice as fast. It's the
Mhm.
same chip and it runs twice as fast. And I think AI has given as entrepreneurs, if you're a grind guy, man, you can grind 5 times harder right now. Except for then, you know what would happen with our chips, and you remember this, then they would melt.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it was awesome until your whole system melted and you had to buy a new one. And I think another part of burnout that's brand new
Mm.
is yes, AI lets you work like 10 people, but if you sequence that poorly, you will be grinding like 10 people
Mm.
and your processor will melt just like my 386 computer's processor melted
Mm.
back in the day.
Mm. What a great explanation of burnout. Thank you. Moving on, how can ambitious people pursue excellence without becoming trapped by perfectionism?
Man, to embrace being powerfully imperfect. Do it. Shitty done beats perfectly planned. Just do it. Like
Mm.
all of everything we actually learn in life is through experience.
Mm.
Okay. And Leonardo da Vinci was really big on this. He said, hey, even books are useless unless you're
Mm.
reading books to then go and have experiences. So it's great to read a book, right? It's great to consume a YouTube video,
Mm.
even like this one. But if
Mm.
you don't actually go put it into practice, what has happened? Nothing, right? If you can read 20 books on how to ride a bike and still not be able to ride a bike if you've never
Mm.
gotten onto one.
Mm.
what I think people need to embrace is, yeah, you're going to be bad at it. There was a time in your life when you could not use the toilet without help.
Mm.
That's not now. You've gone past that. You've learned. Every other skill in your life will be the same.
Mm.
Every other skill in your life, go be bad at it.
Yeah.
Like, because in order to master something, you've got to be horrible at it, and then not horrible, and then pretty good, and then a little bit better than good, and then great.
Mm.
And then, you can just keep going up the line. But
Mm.
but embrace being powerfully imperfect. I'm not a perfect speaker, but I will speak. I'm not a perfect singer, but I will sing, because I will tell you that social media in its form today has created a world where people, my 11-year-old the other day said, I asked him if he might do track. His older sister's on a track scholarship at college. I said, hey, you think you might run one day? He said, Dad, Usain Bolt is the fastest guy on the earth, and I'll never be that fast, so I'm never going to run.
Mm.
What? Wait, what? Because
Mm.
one out of 8 billion of us is faster than the rest? Then you're never even going to try? That's crazy. No, like, go. We have forgotten, and I don't think we have, but I think it's great to be the best guy in the house, and then
Mm.
the best guy in the neighborhood, and then the
Yeah.
best guy in the city. There is value in small incremental wins, no matter how imperfect.
Mm. Very interesting. Kevin, you focused on five areas: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. Why are these five dimensions so important?
Yeah, so to me, life can be kind of difficult to really maximize, or I don't even want to say maximize. Just if I want to get the full joy out of life, right? For me, I look at it through those five facets, right? It's kind of like a diamond. The diamond is a diamond, but when you look into it, you see all these different facets.
Mm.
And for me, life has the five facets of fitness, which is my physical body. So that's like, what can I do with it? What am I taking into it? Like, what is my intake? And then what is my health, right? Just my chemical, physical health. That's important. Everything I do is with my body, right? I had a heart attack. Okay. When you have a heart attack and you're laying down, like, you realize
Mm.
it's really hard to have any real success or joy without this body of yours,
Yeah.
right? Faith is a connection to the unseen, to
Mm.
God, to the universe, whatever you call it. It's there. It's real. It's a huge part of you. It's an equal part of you as the physical,
Mm.
right? And so faith is the relationship with that and with yourself. Can you sit in a room by yourself,
Mm.
quiet and like yourself? And then to your purpose. Hey, why were you born? And that's something each person decides. That's
Yeah.
something each person, finds. You
Mm.
have family, which is, yes, the family you were born to, very important. I will say, I think in America, the intergenerational home, losing the intergenerational home, we lost something really big. As I've traveled the world and I've looked at cultures who have intergenerational homes, like, it's awesome. I think we lost something here in the
Mm.
Western world when we got rid of that. I hope one day we go back to it. But the family you were born to, also the family you choose. So if you're married or if you have a long-term
Yeah.
partner, and then just your friends, their
Mm.
family, the people you choose to be around are very important for the quality of your life. In fact, that might be the most important. The quality of your relationships will tell you the quality of your life more than anything else.
Mm.
Anything else.
Mm.
When you get to finance, hey, money matters, right? In when we were cavemen, me and you would judge success by, am I able to have a cave? Can I defend it? Am I able to get game? And am I able to grow crops? All of that has been boiled down in the modern world to money, because I buy a
Mm.
home, I buy food, I buy. So money matters quite a bit. Can I make it? Can I keep it? And can I do that again and again? Can I repeat that somehow?
Very interesting. Very
And
interesting.
then fun for
Yeah.
me is the fifth one. Fun is the opposable thumb. It brings the fist together. Here's the thing. If you optimize for fitness, faith, family, and finance, and you don't like your life, that's not a win.
Mm.
I would I would suggest you are not optimized,
Yeah.
because joy is a huge part of human existence. And if
Absolutely.
you refuse to experience that, I feel sorry for you.
Very interesting. And yet, many people succeed financially but fail personally.
Oh
How do
yeah.
you help clients create the balance across all five areas?
Yeah. So first, balance is kind of a myth in that, right? So like, if you look at the five areas, you say, well, I'm going to have 20% fun, 20% fitness. It
Yes,
doesn't really work that way, right?
correct.
It's like, it's
Correct.
laughable. No
Yeah.
one even wants that. I mean, no one
Yeah.
even wants
Yeah.
to do that.
Mm.
So it is really about, like, what song am I singing? How do I bring harmony to my life? And harmony is different. Like, maybe you're singing a march and maybe I'm
Mm.
singing punk rock. And so those are different things and different hard. What is it that I want to do? The main thing is this. Why are people successful in business? 100% because they know their numbers, they manage what matters. So they know their KPI, their key performance indicators.
Yeah.
And many of my clients will say it's so easy in business. But why? Because they embrace key performance indicators. So I introduce a system, and I want to be careful about this, a system of key performance indicators for fitness, a system of key performance indicators for spirituality and your relationship to God, a key KPI for your relationships, KPI obviously for finances, that it is all KPI there, and then KPI for fun. Is that crazy? No, it's not crazy. Of course, that's how we do things. Now, the key to it is that I have a system that creates, hey, here are the buckets that are important, but that the client optimizes for what they want. So, hey, fitness is important, but you might run and I might do yoga and someone else might do heavy lifting. None of us is wrong. So we need a system that allows people to optimize to who they are, not to try to give them this, oh, this works for everybody. Most of the big failures I've had in personal growth is when I take someone else's success and I try to apply it to me. It's like, well, I'm not that person. Right. Like, I mean, they're 4 foot and 100 pounds and I'm 6'3" and 300 pounds. So I can't win like they win. We can both win, but I can't win like they win. We can't wear the same shoes because they wear size 5 and I wear size 12. It's just not going to work. I can't just go take their formula. So you have to have a system that lets you customize. I think people forget that we look at statistics, like here's the percent chance you're going to be, but in your life, you are not statistics. You're at one of the dots. You're just one dot.
Correct.
And if you're just one dot, the game is very different. All statistics breaks down in a sample size of 1. And all of us are a sample size of 1.
Correct. Moving on, Kevin, what common limiting beliefs do you encounter most amongst the people that you coach?
So the number one thing is a combination of worthiness and anxiety, right? Am I enough? And is something bad going to happen? Am I enough? Just remember, who decides if you're enough? You. At the end of the day, enough is a snake or a dog chasing its own tail.
Correct.
When I was in college, $3 in my bank account was enough. I could take a girl to get a taco. I had enough money to get ramen, and I was happy. I'm 50 years old. I have 5 kids. $3 in my account is not enough. Which of me was right? Both of us, right? Enough is a progression. So remember, the thing that it's not enough is you judging yourself. Hey, slow down. What do you really want? That's just a permission thing. The other thing is anxiety. And I've seen this really become almost a pandemic in the last 5 years. Everything that makes you anxious also is what makes you excited. I have learned that my anxiety is my excitement. When I really care about something, my brain, which is a giant threat detector, will start telling me all the things that could go wrong. And if I'm on a roller coaster, that's fun because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to die. If I'm in a car, that's not fun because I don't know what's going to happen, right?
Correct.
And so I kind of try to remind myself that the idea that there are millions of people who wake up, look at their calendar, and get anxious about it, except for they created all of the appointments on their calendar. How come I don't look at my week's calendar? This is something I actively do. On Monday, I look at my calendar, and it's full beyond belief. And I want to be excited. Like, look at all this cool stuff I get to do. That's why I plan these things. Like I had this call early in the morning today, and I was excited. I was like, yeah, I get to be on this podcast. How cool is this? I think a lot of people create their schedule. Then on Monday morning, they feel crushed by it. And they just forgot, like, hey, you put all that stuff there. Even if your boss did it, you chose the job. So there must be some benefit, right? So, hey, shift out of have to get to. Wow, I get to do this, right? And if there are some things that you just don't bring you joy, cool, stop. You just stop.
Yeah. Great response. Accountability is a major part of your model. How do you create accountability that empowers rather than discourages people?
I love this question. What a great question. First, accountability, one thing to understand, it is always external. There is no way I cannot be accountable to myself because like it's like saying that I could see myself without a mirror, right?
Mm,
If you walk into a room of 1,000 people, the
mm,
only person in that room that you cannot see is yourself. Why? Because your eyes are faced out, right? If your eyes are to see out, your emotions do the same thing. Everything is out. And that's why you'll find anything bad that happens to you. Have you ever noticed that your first thought is never what I did? It's always that person or this thing or
correct.
why did that happen? And that's human. We're facing out.
Mm,
So in order to see ourselves, we need mirrors. And more than that, we need other
mm,
people,
mm,
right? We need other people to see us and say, hey, man, I see this. I've been there. So people that we trust who create a safe environment, that's true accountability, right? That is true. Now, objective numbers can
mm.
help with that, right? So KPIs help a lot because
Yeah.
that helps us to see like, I'm feeling fat today. I'm feeling thin. What I've noticed is when I'm really losing weight, so I'm finally moving the needle in my body, but anytime that I'm actually losing weight, if you look at my journal, I'll be journaling about how I'm not making any progress and this is so frustrating. But what's actually happening is when I'm losing weight, I don't like the feeling of that. And I translate that to this is not worth it. But
Mm,
actually, that's the moment I'm making progress, right? Thanks
mm,
to external people and external measures, I can now see myself. So
mm.
accountability is external by design. As a human being, you can't bite your own teeth. You can't see yourself. You can't touch the tip of your finger with the tip of your finger. And accountability requires that kind of view. That's
Correct.
why coaches are so valuable. Coaches say, hey, I see what you're doing. Because we're not you, right? Like not because we're like
Mm,
magical, but
mm.
because we're over here, third party, it's easier to see.
Very interesting. I have time for two more questions, Kevin. When someone feels stuck in life, where should they begin the process of transformation?
God, I love this. Yeah. So let's imagine that stuck in life means that you've fallen in a hole. You're walking down the street and you fall in a hole, and now you're 2 meters deep in a hole. Okay. What most people will do is they will think very much about how did this happen? Why did this happen? And then let's be honest, who pushed me here,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Here's what's fun. The
Mm,
how this happened, why this happened, and who pushed me here are completely irrelevant when you're 2 meters below the surface of the street,
mm.
right? All that matters at that point is here's where I am and here's where I want to be,
Correct.
right? The value of why and how is zero until I'm out of the hole. No amount of knowing why I got in the hole will
Mm.
actually get me out of the hole.
Yeah.
So the most important thing if you're stuck is where am I? Where do I really want to go? And what is my very next step?
Mm,
Not what is the whole journey? Because so many times, right? You get halfway through and you realize, oh, the second half of the trip was actually imaginary. I'm done.
mm,
So it's where am I? Where do I want to go? What is the very next step? And then take that step as soon as possible. And if the very next step is a year of effort, that's not one step. The very
mm,
next step is something you can do in the next 24 hours or
mm,
the next hour. What is the thing I can do in the next hour? Once you're up and out of the hole, right? So once you're up back on the street, yes, please turn around, see why that happened so you don't have to fall in it again.
mm.
But when you're up out of the hole, you have the perspective then easily to see how and why it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
The bottom of the hole doesn't give you the perspective. So, hey, where am I? Where do I really want to be? And what is the very next step I can take in the next hour or 24 hours? Like that will get you unstuck faster than anything else.
Fascinating. And my last question for you, Kevin. For someone listening to our conversation today who wants to step up immediately, what are the first few actions you think they should take?
First, commit to yourself to be honest about who
Mm,
you really are today
mm,
and where you really want to go. That's the hardest
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So many people are following other people's paths or they're pretending to be someone and then pretending to want to go somewhere. That'll never work.
Mm,
If I'm pretending to be in South America and I tell you, hey, I need directions to Europe, you're going to give me directions. But if I'm actually in Australia, they're not going to work. And you're not going to be wrong. You gave me the
mm,
right directions. I just
yeah.
was pretending I'm somewhere else. Stop pretending. Be honest. Where
Mm,
do am I really? Where do I
mm,
really want to go? And then take the next step. Stop pretending it's hard. Also, the other thing people
mm,
do is well, I don't know what I want. Well, I don't know. You do know. Internally, you do. There is no internal struggle.
mm,
External, if I said, hey, lift 1,000 pounds, cool. You could struggle with that. But internal, there's no struggle. You know. You maybe don't want to admit it. Maybe it's uncomfortable to say it. Like, you know what you're doing to yourself that doesn't serve you. I would say stop one thing that you're doing that's hurting you and take one action that moves you forward. And I don't mean giant action. I mean, like,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this right now and you think I need to stop smoking, and you tell me your action is to stop smoking, no, it's not. Throw away the cigarettes in your car. Yes, I believe that it's tangible. You can do it right now. It's a symbol to your whole self. And when you throw those cigarettes away, your whole body, your conscious mind, sure, is here behind your eyes and your brain, like it's your prefrontal cortex. Your subconscious is the whole rest of you. Every other cell of you is your subconscious. Your subconscious and conscious unite when you throw those cigarettes away. And now it's like, hey, I'm taking a real action. I really want this. That is it. Take the next tangible action.
Wow. Take bite-sized milestones is what you're telling everyone. But on that note, sorry?
If you can't do it in the next 24 hours, and I would even say the next hour, it's not tangible.
Absolutely right. But on that note, Kevin, I just want to say what a fascinating conversation this has been with you. I think you gave us some incredible pointers, not just as a coach, but as someone who's seen life and who's given us some very interesting pointers on work, on life, on us being better human beings. And I just love your 5 areas of faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun, and the way you just blended them all together into one universe that impacts each one of us. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.